How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another movie review. This channel is mainly about me talking about classic movies, but if I see a recent movie that I liked or just feel like talking about and sharing my thoughts with you guys, more than likely I'm going to. So, over the previous weekend, I went over to my local theater to see the new Clerks film, Clerks 3. I am a fan of Kevin Smith's work ever since his first Clerks movie back in 1994. Of course, I like Mallrats, and Chasing Amy is my personal favorite. I remember I was in the theater back in 1999 to see Dogma, and again in 2001 for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So I have my own personal history with these movies. I'm a big fan of the View Askew Universe, and I even like to watch Kevin Smith's podcasts. So those of you that are fans of Kevin Smith, you know his work, or you watch his podcasts, you'll see a lot of familiar faces from a lot of previous movies, and you'll even see a nice little cameo in here from Ralph Garman. I love watching his podcasts on YouTube, the ones that he does with Ralph Garman, Hollywood Babylon, and of course Fat Man Beyond. Those of you that know that one that he does with his co-host Mark Bernardin. If you guys pay attention, you'll notice Mark Bernardin is in this movie, though he doesn't have any lines, but I think it's great that he at least gets the name Lando, which I thought was kind of funny. So there are those pop culture references that we all expect, plenty of mentions of Star Wars, and a lot of familiar faces. So those of you that are in for this kind of thing, if you like the classic sort of stoner comedy, but with a touch of heart, this movie has very funny moments and moments that will surprisingly sneak up on you and tug at the heartstrings. This is definitely a refined Kevin Smith compared to some of his works that maybe some people aren't really big fans of, because I know for a lot of people, Tusk is a big sort of miss, even though I'm not one of those people. I actually think Tusk is one of his more better recent movies, along with Red State. Big fan of that one. And this is definitely a big improvement from Yoga Hosers. Though I can have fun with Yoga Hosers, it's definitely not my favorite Kevin Smith movie. But I think Clerks 3 is definitely going to be looked at as one of his best. Definitely one of his best of his recent movies. But I had a lot of fun with this. It was really cool to see Dante and Randall come back now in their late 40s, still working at the Quick Stop. Of course, now they don't just work there, but they actually own the Quick Stop. So that's pretty cool to see. They're no longer at Movies. But from Movies, Elias is still with them. So he makes a lot of appearances in this movie. Some pretty funny moments with Elias, actually. He goes through various different looks throughout the movie because he's having sort of a spiritual crisis. At the very beginning of this film, Randall and Elias are having a discussion having to do with kites. And these kites have the Buddy Christ logo on them. So the Buddy Christ makes an appearance in this movie. Those of you that are familiar with Dogma, you know what I'm talking about. And so this discussion gets Randall kind of stressed out and hot and bothered. And this leads to Randall having a heart attack. So at the hospital, Randall is talking to Dante, and somewhere in there, there's a really funny scene with Justin Long making an appearance, and he's pretty funny in this movie. He's got to shave Randall's nether regions, I guess, for this operation he's got to go through. I don't know why, because it's a heart attack, but it's part of the funny aspect of that scene. And so yeah, Randall is talking to Dante, and Dante sort of uh, tells Randall, hey, you know, if anyone could make a great movie, I think you would have made a good movie. All the knowledge that you know and all the stuff we talk about movies. And so Randall sort of just has this epiphany that he hasn't done anything with his life. You know, his life sort of flashes before his eyes, and he's sort of reflecting a little bit and kind of realizes that he needs to get off his butt and make a movie. So that is the premise of Clerks 3. He makes Dante his producer, and you're going to see a lot of really classic scenes from that first Clerks sort of recreated, because essentially they're making Clerks 1. Of course, back again is Kevin Smith himself as Silent Bob and Jay Muse as Jay. So you got Jay and Silent Bob in there once again. This time They are working out of what used to be the video store, which has been closed down for like a decade now. And now that video store where Randall used to work in that first film is a dispensary. And so you got Jay and Silent Bob selling weed from the dispensary. So yeah, some nice funny moments with Jay and Silent Bob. They always add that comedic beat to certain scenes that you kind of need in there in between the kind of serious scenes that are in here, because this movie is filled with some serious moments that definitely caught me off guard. And as far as that goes, Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson as Randall and Dante, both of these guys have gotten so much better since that first Clerks movie in terms of acting. And I was really surprised in certain scenes, especially certain monologues, how real these guys felt at times. And I was genuinely moved. Uh, I had to shed a tear at least 3 times in this movie. Those of you that are fans of Clerks 2, you'll be happy to know that Rosario Dawson's character comes back in Clerks 3. And I really liked her character in that second movie. She was one of my favorite parts of that movie. So it's awesome to see her have scenes again with Dante, because their chemistry is even stronger in this one. Because this is a Kevin Smith film and a comedy, and a stoner comedy at that, this is definitely not going to be for everyone. It really depends on your type of sense of humor, and this is the kind of thing that I grew up with, so I'm very familiar with this kind of territory. I'm a big fan of the old Cheech and Chong movies from back in the day, and movies like Half Baked and stuff. So stoner comedies I have fun with, and I had a lot of fun with this movie. Like I said before, some moments in here that'll sneak up on you. So I've heard him say in interviews about this movie that people should bring tissues, and yeah, he wasn't kidding. I think that this is one of Kevin Smith's better movies of recent years. I think it's genuinely funny. There are moments in this movie that are very, very moving, and I think it's very well made, and it stands on its own. Even though it's a sequel, I think it is one of his best recent works, and even if you're not a big fan of Kevin Smith's movies, I think if you enjoy a good comedy with a little heart in there, I think this one might be up your alley. So if you have a chance to watch this movie, or if you're lucky enough to be in one of those cities where Kevin Smith is showing this movie, because I understand he's taking this on tour, much like he did with Jay and Silent Bob reboot a few years ago. Um, that's how he's making his money with these movies now. He takes these movies on tour, and he does a Q&A, and that's pretty cool. You get to see Kevin Smith on stage in 47 cities. I've seen in interviews he's talked about making it 50 possibly, but if you're lucky enough to be in the area to catch this show and see this film with him, I would definitely recommend it. Clerks 3, I give it 3.5 stars. Check it out. So that's going to do it for me for this review. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to keep coming out with the classic movie reviews, so please look out for the next one. If you're into movies, hit that bell for notifications, hit all, and you'll get notifications on all my reviews coming up. Please comment, like, share. Please let me know in the comment section if you've seen this film. What did you think? What is your favorite Kevin Smith movie? And please look out for the next classic movie review. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, you guys take care. Peace.